Hey everybody, this is the King of Chaos, Logan Black, and when I'm sitting around with earbuds in my ears, you know I've got one thing going on in there. That's right, wrestling with entertainment. Check it out.
What's up, Crimson Squad? This is Amy Crimson, and you're watching Wrestling with Entertainment.
This is Don Kincaid with the Kincaid Files, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, baby.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the latest exclusive breaking news, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday, and interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy. Use promo code Wrestling with E for 10% off your next purchase, and Player One Coffee. I am, of course, your host, James Shea, alongside the leader of Squash Squad, Kaliko Yacht, who is not here today, but who is always beside me, Scooter Dust.
I think I have finally figured out how someone really wants to zig-a-zig-ah.
And, of course, it's a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with, from the Kincaid Files, stirring the pot, Don Kincaid.
What's up, my guys? My goodness, thank you so much for inviting me. Whenever I saw the message, I'm like, these guys gotta have the wrong dude. But I really appreciate you guys having me on. This is awesome.
No, absolutely. It's kind of, when we first started this, we were just doing wrestlers, but now it's kind of like, we wanna kind of expand. You know what I mean?
We're branching out.
Branching
I
out.
know it. I know exactly what you mean because when I started this out, the stirring the pot, if you will, I wanted to get the behind the scenes, if you will, get the wrestlers, the talent stories from them, not in a regular interview formula. In my own kooky way, I don't write anything down. I don't even research anyone. If I've never met them, I still go on the fly. I just have a lot of fun. But what I always wanted to do as well with stirring the pot was I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just about the wrestlers because it takes so much to have an event really pulled off. And I wanted the ring announcers, I wanted referees, I wanted valets, I wanted managers, I wanted anyone. If you're keeping time, if you're doing commentary, it does not matter. If you were part of the industry and you have something to talk about, dude, I'm your guy. Let's chit chat for a while. So I appreciate that you were focusing on the talent, but you kind of realize that there's more than just that aspect of talking to the wrestlers.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And like,
It's really similar to us. Very scarily similar.
and your people listen to you, and sometimes people, when they listen to somebody that they enjoy, like yourself, they want to kind of get the story behind you as well. Uh, you know, interview the people that we trust to do good jobs with their interviews. You know what I mean?
I'm on the same wavelength with you guys. I have done that myself because it's like you get to share stories, if you will, almost while you're talking to each other in a quote unquote interview. And I'll use a perfect example just very recently. Rob Williams came on Stirring the Pot. He's from the Culture podcast. Look them guys up. Great crew over there. Love everything about Rob Williams. And we just recently had him on the show this week. And we had an absolute blast. I've never talked to the guy ever once personally. I've never met him face to face. We've only connected on Facebook. And long and behold, my friends that I'm speaking to right now, That conversation that I did with Rob Williams, it was for an hour and a half, and it was like we knew each other for years. It was so comfortable and just so cool, you know?
Oh yeah, we've had
Yeah.
quite a few of those conversations as well.
Yes. And yeah, you bring up the idea of it being very comfortable. We, Wrestling with Entertainment, we don't really like calling we don't really like calling these interviews because, like yourself, we want to know the person behind the gimmick. We want you do some stuff in the ring. That's great. That's awesome. That's incredible. But we want to know about you. That we like to think that we go the step beyond, and we don't call it an interview. We just consider this long conversations with new friends.
Hmm. And that's this is uncanny how our wavelengths are so right on, because when I'm talking to said talents that I'm speaking with on the show, I always say that I don't want this to be an interview. I don't want it to be a podcast, because I am not labeled as a podcast. I never wanted to be. And I just want it to be a conversation with two friends hanging out in the living room. And that's exactly what I've always tried to stride on doing. And it seemed to work. So far, so good. And again, it all comes down to comfortability, because you don't want it to be the same stuffy, what was your favorite match? Who
Oh
did you
god,
get trained
yes.
by?
Yeah.
Well, who's your favorite wrestler? You don't want, personally, I didn't want it to be a specific formula, because they've answered all of these questions in the past on either a podcast or a sit down format with a promotion, if you will, if they have formats. um, but it's like you don't some of the questions you have to ask that are kind of generalized,
Of
but
course.
you can go about it in such a different way if you have a flavor about yourself, is I guess the easiest way to put it. And I find when I'm at the shows, I act like a complete fucking jack. Ooh, can I swear on
Yes,
this one?
you can
Yeah,
cuss.
yeah. No one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I thought I was just thought I was crossing the line, because I'm free flow on my show,
Oh no, boys.
Um, but the way I always just thought about it is, um, oh god, I lost my train of thought. I dropped an F bomb and got all frigged up here.
You were
You
saying
act,
about
you talk about acting at shows.
Oh yes, acting like a fucking jackass at the shows. If you've ever seen me, and I apologize if I ever, I never go vulgar. I don't like throw shit at the guys or the girls. I'm not one of these guys that get all crazy at the shows. But what I am is, I'm a fan that really gets into it. And when I boo like a mother. And I get up and I have a lot of fun. When I
yes.
cheer, I do the same thing. And I seem to kind of, over the course of the past 5 or 6 years, jumping into the indie scene like really hard, I have gained a lot of relationships. I've networked with a lot of the talent, promoters, again, the managers and referees. I found a niche with almost all of them. I could be uh, getting kicked by a referee because of maybe a specific promotion, or I could be getting kidnapped by a wrestler by in a different promotion. um, um, but what? But I've established these wacky, because let's just all be honest, my friends. Wrestling is nothing but a wacky world of misfits, and we love every motherfucking second of it. So,
Yes.
with all of that
100%.
being said, we like to have fun. When I'm at the shows, I go a little overboard. Yes, I might stand out a little bit, and I think that's what's gained me this niche, if you will, and it's gotten to blossom into something from where I started. I would stand against the wall and just do clips. I can read a ring very well, and I would whip out my phone and see a setup, and I would whip it out and record for about 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds. Take those clips, start sharing them on the book, if you will. And that's how it really started. and then I just kind of blossomed into promos and full matches and graphics and really jiving with the guys and digging on them at the shows, and then continuing the storylines, I guess, if you will, to take away from the shows. As a fan and a wrestler, you're still projecting it on the social medias, and we just have a lot of fun. That word fun is what I strive for, and I know I'm yammering, but it's so much fun. It really is, my friends, right here as we speak now. We don't have to be in the ring to have fun, and I dig what you guys are doing here.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And it is because odds are I'm never going to be a wrestler, but but I love wrestling so much. It's such a big part of my life to do this podcast and to be kind of have an extension of that. And you said the wackiness of professional wrestling. Be, just being a podcaster in this genre, things get a lot wacky, and I'm sure you you experienced it
Yes.
as well.
I have to definitely agree again, my friend. Because especially doing the media end of it, you'll always hear yeses and you'll always hear nos. You'll get no sold, quote unquote, being ignored. And those are the things you have to deal with and not take personally, and just keep doing your thing, doing you. And it is. I mean, with anything, may it be football, basketball, baseball, but wrestling specifically is its own world, its own community. There's something very unique and special that really separates wrestling from any other sport, any other kind of entertainment. And I know that wrestling is built upon a couple things, being entertainment and sports, and many other things, acting, and being a guy or girl in the gym, physical fitness, keeping the mental status good. There's so many aspects of being a wrestler. But I just find, and I've said this on my show many a times, and I want to take that word "my" out, because Stirring the Pot is not my show. It's our show. It's for the fans to learn about the talent. I never label it as my show, never ever, and I will always reiterate that every single time. If I slip up and say "my," I always catch myself, because that's not me. I am part of the fan base. I'm part of all of us. So it's not my show. It's our show. And I love every second of it.
All right. And can you tell us who you got coming up next on Stirring the Pot, and where we can find you on social media as well?
Oh, well, you guys, I think you guys might. Now, before I get into that, I'm from Connecticut. And where are you guys based out of? Because I don't know if these names will hit a note or not with you.
I'm in Los Angeles, and Scooter's in New York.
And I'm in New York City specifically.
Okay, so these might hit a couple notes. Now, one won't specifically because he's very brand new. But what we do have on the calendar, let me pop that up real quick. Let's see. I have next Monday. Now, what I've been doing is scheduling about 3 to 5 a week. And I've got 3 that I scheduled, and then I stopped. I left Thursday open and Friday open. But next week, December 6th, I have a guy that Y, with capital WHY and a question mark. He is not on TV right now as we speak, is beyond me. He's out of the Syracuse, New York area. And his moniker is the Moonlight Sun, and his name is Mike Skyros. And this kid has a look. The way he moves in the ring is very himself. He's found his own niche. His gear is professional. He carries himself very professional. He doesn't get caught up in the behind-the-scene drama politics bullshit. And I love everything about this kid. and he's making his return. This will be the second time that I'm interviewing Mike Skyros, but he's had such a change in his career since I've talked to him, and I can't not wait to get into that with him. And anybody that's listening to us speak, if you don't hear these names or don't know these names that these guys are having on or that we're speaking of right now, don't be afraid to get on that keyboard and look them up. Check them out. There might be a talent out there that you would have never thought you would have run into, and you might be a favorite. You know, they might be one of your favorite talents to follow.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
these names that you know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
the promotions, the names of the talents, if your listeners, if they don't know of these names, look them right up. They all have plenty of social media. You can't miss them when you type up their names. And just follow them. Give them a little bit of love. You as a fan, you'll get to know new talent. Them as a talent will get to have new fan base. So, I mean, it all works both ways. And I didn't mean to yammer about Mike Skyros, but I
Oh, no,
really do love
absolutely.
me some Mike Skyros.
No, we love
And then the
passion.
following, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying we love the passion.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, my man. And then the following day being December 7th on a Tuesday, we have a guy who came out of Chikara before Chikara kind of went onto the wayside and things went a little weird over there.
Ooh.
We have a guy named Devantes.
Oh my God, really?
God.
This kid is built
Oh.
like a literal brick shit house. This dude is something, and he is in my area. I see him on more in a Connecticut and Enfield. There's a company called Blitzkrieg Pro Wrestling,
Yes.
and they have him on their shows regularly. And this kid has got something. He's got a look. Again, he looks professional. He carries himself in a professional manner. He is tattooed to the motherfucking nine, this
Yes.
guy. He has a dark complexion with a blonde mohawk, and he looks ominous, like he's going to eat you for breakfast.
Yep.
Devantes is coming on, and I've never spoken to him personally besides at an event level where you kind of chit-chat real quick and grab their merch and all of that good stuff. So this I'm kind of excited for. Not that I'm not excited for Mr. Skyros, but Devantes I've never spoken with, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, actually, we're interviewing Devontes as well next week.
Oh,
Yep.
oh,
Yeah.
well, looky, see here. All right.
It's crazy how when you said we're on the same wavelength, yeah, I was feeling you, but now it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
how much we're on the same wavelength.
That is absolutely fan-fucking-tastic. I feel a little something here in this trio, my guys. I really do. Excuse me. And then the following day would be Wednesday, December 8th. I have a kid, and I know you guys have probably never heard of him. There is a company out of East Haven, Connecticut. They have a training facility, and they are molding their students from the ground up. I'll just name off a quick few because they're very young and very talented, and you're going to be seeing these guys spreading their wings way quicker than you ever thought. We have Dustin Flash Waller. This kid's a high flyer. He's catching eyes real quick as we speak. And I think the kid just turned 20, literally, and he looks amazing. Then we have, and all of these guys I'm mentioning right now are considered miracle generation. They all have come up together. So we have Dustin Flash Waller. We have Kylon King. We have a tag team together. They're brothers, Sean Knight and Jay Onyx. Those four together are the miracle generation, and they're bred students out of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling in East Haven, Connecticut. And the kid who I'm having on, he's a brand new guy. They brought him in very young, very fresh. They're molding him in a very fine fashion. He's sitting alongside, and I don't know if you guys know of one Big Daddy. He's been in the WWE. He's an amazing talent. He's a manager. He's been in our local scene for years and years. He has brought in and molded his sidekick, if you will, his play-by-play guy, while Big Daddy's the color guy. And his name is Talkin' Tommy, and he's very professional. Carries himself very professional look with the suit, tie, carries himself very well when he speaks. He knows the talent. He knows the move set. And this kid is going to be a lot of fun in the future. And I can't wait to talk to him. And I almost am positive this is his very first interview. And I'm so excited because I love, love, love when I get me some first interviews from a talent. I'd like you guys to piggyback on that if you could.
Well, we definitely have been a couple of first interviews for a few people.
I know this, yeah. I mean, our first interview was, he didn't even have his first match. He was still a trainee. And that was our very first interview. Oh,
And in terms of the age, not that this is not a competition by any means, Don, but we have you beat a little bit there. We've grown a relationship with Limitless up in Maine,
Oh, nice. Very nice connection.
and all the great female talent to come out of there, including some that aren't, and this is gonna sound so wrong coming out of my mouth this way, but some that aren't even of legal voting age yet, that are
Mhm.
that have had 2-3 year careers already.
yeah.
Mhm.
So it's absolutely, astounding, watching this generation come up as opposed to, when, and I'm going to date myself here, when somebody like me was coming up through, India. I was in it for a cup of coffee, couple months as a ring announcer, and then unfortunately things went south. But then starting the podcast years or so later, but it all goes back to that that passion, that hard work, that that building your name up from nothing. And that's, please, I hope you don't take that the wrong way, but again, it's another similarity between us where we have, you know you know all we have to do is try, and we always find ourselves in a much better place than we were the day before, and tomorrow we'll find ourselves in a better place than that.
Absolutely. Every time is a new experience. You learn from all of them. You find your own niche, if you will, and you kind of carry it in that way. And I love that you have a relationship with such a great company. That's awesome. Because how I started it off doing the interviews, I would go face to face to their homes, and then when the virus hit, I had to figure out something. So I was just doing it online, and I use Skype, and it's just easiest for me. So it's a different feel for me than doing it in person, obviously, but I still get to connect and keep those relationships alive and have such great talent. And obviously, doing it online, I have more of a farther reach,
Right.
so you get to have more people on and so forth. So I appreciate you guys because I'm not much of a Twitter guy. And when I got a message through Twitter, I was like, who in the fuck would message me through Twitter? And then I opened it up. I go, are these guys on acid? Do they even know who they're talking to? They don't. They must have sent the message to the wrong guy. Like for real, man. And when you were like, no, we know who you are.
Yeah.
It's cool. We want you to come on. I was like, oh wow, now that's fucking cool shit. I'm down. But yeah, I did look back on your Twitter. You guys have been busy, which means you also have that passion, because if you're not busy, you're just being lazy.
Yes.
And I didn't even, to be honest with you, full transparency. Again, I never research anybody, and I did the same in this environment, even though the roles are reversed, which is just fucking weird for me. But I did go through your Twitter a bit, and you guys are busy, and I see that you're not afraid to reach out and get those rejections, to get those yeses, and continue the path and create your own way and get this brand off the ground, which is harder than holy hell because there's so many of these platforms out there right now.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's pretty much that's exactly why I agreed. I knew nothing about you guys. I knew nothing about your show. I didn't even look at the talent who you had on to, again, full transparency. But
Oh, no worries.
I thought that you guys were busy. And for me, that's all I needed. And I appreciate, you guys even wanting me on because you are more geared for the wrestling talent. And I really do appreciate it.
I did take like a break last week. I wasn't doing any interviews, just kind of doing the holiday thing. And I gotta say, I was pretty bored.
Yeah.
I wasn't researching anybody. I wasn't looking into getting anybody on the show. I wasn't doing podcasts. I was just sitting there, and I hate just sitting there. It's
I'm with you right there, my man, because when it comes to wrestling, there's so much to do. And with me, I run 2 promotions pages. I do all of the graphics for matches and posters and promotion for both of them on their pages. I go to live events. I take the footage. I do quick promos while I'm there at the show with the talents on the fly. I take all of that content, I put it on my YouTube channel. I even clip a bunch of it so we can have some fun with it and poke at the bad guys and really fucking get them pissed off for the next show. And then, I do my interviews. I make graphics randomly. Like I'll use Moonlight Sun as an example, making a cool little graphic with his championship and just randomly, just for shits and giggles. So I personally have so many things that I do within wrestling. I got a whole lot going on. And trying to talk with the promoters to keep the card straight, what's going on, if anything changes, and I'm always on top of it. I want all the information correct. And I'm sharing those posts to different pages and such. So I wear a few hats as of late. Which kind of brings me to my next date, which isn't an interview or anything to do with stirring the pot. I have been invited, and I have the utmost privilege and honor because I've never done something like this, to a degree, if you will, but never on this, for a company. December 9, which is a Thursday, Micro Wrestling All-Stars. Yes, my friends, you heard that correctly. Our little friends are coming in and they are coming to kick some fucking ass. It is going to be amazing because not only that, they are bringing a cage with them to put aside some traditional matches, put aside the novelty of midget wrestling, and they are bringing a cage to really fuck some shit up, and it's going to be amazing. And if you are in the Connecticut area at all, even if you're not, take that drive. People, come out to this show. You are not going to be disappointed. And it's not all midgets. There's actually a couple of the local talent that are going to be on there as well, which is absolutely cool that they mix it up enough. Midget wrestling became a novelty because regular wrestling splashed a match in every so often. Now the roles are reversing. They have their own federations, their own promotions, if you will, and they're adding the regular size people on in 2021. It's so fucking weird, and I love every second of it. So let me reiterate that because I've been going on a tangent here. That's Micro Wrestling All-Stars. Look up their page. You guys won't, you'll be tickled pink with these guys. Micro Wrestling All-Stars, and it's Micro Wrestling Steel Cage match, and plus much, much more. It's at the Cadillac Ranch, 45 Jude Lane in Southington, Connecticut, and it starts at 8 p.m. is the bell time. So I'm assuming the doors are going to open about 7 o'clock because I am legit going to tell you, if you get there too late, you are too late because this place literally annihilates any regular independent show I've ever seen. You cannot get in this Cadillac Ranch when the midgets show up. It is so jam packed, and we have an amazing time. But I've never been in this capacity. They've invited me to do backstage interviews. Are you shitting me?
That's awesome.
I am so fucking stoked, you guys. I mean, are you kidding me right now? I get to hang out with our favorite guys and our favorite girls. And let me tell you, do not fuck with these people. They will fuck you up, dude. I am telling you. But we have a lot of fun. This is going to be an amazing experience for me personally. I've never done anything like this, and it's with the midgets. And let me tell you, I've interviewed Short Sleeve Samson,
Yeah.
and I've interviewed Robbie the Giant. Don't call him Robbie the Giant. He's Rob the Giant. He'll kick you so hard you don't even know. They don't shy away from the word midget. They embrace it. They utilize it in the names of their federations, their promotions, if you will. And these guys are just so amazing. There's a couple major midget promotions out there, and either one are very satisfying. You never leave disappointed. So I just wanted to promote that because that's gonna be such a great time, and everybody there. It's a bar, so there's gonna be a lot of sippy, and it's just gonna be just something that's unique. You don't see it very often, and you'll walk away with stories every single time.
Now, I want to piggyback off that involvement as being a reward for the hard work you put into establishing yourself. And I've got a twofold question here, and something that we really advocate for on Wrestling with Entertainment is mental health advocacy.
Mhm.
And the idea of, well, not the idea, but there are points where it comes up more and more. But has there ever been a time, one, where you've felt a bit overwhelmed that this was maybe happening too much too fast, or maybe you didn't exactly feel right? And I'm not saying that. I'm trying to get into the topic of establishing yourself is hard work and sometimes can be overwhelming. And then after that, positive question: was there ever a time you really considered being an in-ring performer, and do you know how to take a bump?
The first one, it hits my heart very closely because I speak about what it takes to be a wrestler. I am not a wrestler, but I've been around it, and again, privilege and honor to cross that invisible barrier to go behind the curtain and be in the locker rooms and multiple promotions and have a little closer relationship than maybe a traditional fan would. That mental part of the game, I will always say, is much more important than the physical well-being of your body.
Oh, absolutely.
You can go to the gym and fix that a lot quicker than you can spin some kind of spiral you're going down in a mental state. And without the mental faction and the physical, you're half-assing it. You're kidding yourself to become an athlete and a performer and giving the fans, yourself, your peers, and the promoters your 100% capabilities of being all of those things. So the mental part, I have want to quit, and I count them 6 times already. And I started in late 2015, early 2016. There's been times where I was overwhelmed with I was getting invited to all of these shows and everybody wanted me to be everywhere. Then there was a part where my footage was really starting to gain some steam and everybody wanted their matches, everybody wanted their clips, everybody wanted GIFs, everybody wanted pictures, everybody wanted whatever I was offering in a smaller capacity. But now I'm gaining more and more friends. I'm gaining more and more performers on my page. So now I'm getting more of this. The cost, and I'm not even talking about 2021, even a few years back, the cost because of the traveling as much as I'm doing. I was going to 15 shows a month on an average.
Wow.
That's more than any worker on an average in any state unless you are legit signed under a contract. And I am not patting myself on the back. I am not saying I am better than any athlete or worker out there right now. I am saying I was putting more miles than many of the guys that were legit actively working. And people noticed. And there is one sentence that a guy that how long do we have here? Do you guys have a time frame?
We got all the time in the world.
I fucking love you guys. I never have a time frame. I love you guys. There's a guy, his name is Fogman. He runs Center Ring, and he took me under his wing a little bit, if you will, a couple years back under his show that he does. It's a public access show in Wallingford, Connecticut. He told me when we started gaining our friendship at the shows, you never know who's watching. I will always remember that sentence for as long as I do this, because it's not about how many likes. It's not about how many views. To a degree it is, because you want those numbers out there. That kind of does gauge for people's eyes to see. And I get that. But the views and the likes and the reactions that you don't get will always outweigh the views and the likes that you do get. And people will always come up to you and say, hey, I saw blah, blah, blah. That was some really cool shit. Or I saw that interview you did, or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that dude don't watch my shit ever. But, oh, yes, he does. It could be a promoter that's watching your stuff. I've been reached out and said, Kincaid, your stuff has gotten me on shows just by your clips, and I can't appreciate it enough. What you do for the industry, you don't realize, and maybe I don't, and I just want to help the industry. And this is all part of the mental state. And I know I kind of got in a different direction, but I didn't, because it's all part of the mental state of these guys and girls that you see in the ring, that you will never know how fucked up they are at some points in their life.
Right.
But yet they still get in that ring and they perform. And they will always say it's for us. But it is for them a little bit, because they love wrestling that much. So the mental part of it, yes. I have been tweaked a bunch of times, and I counted 6. And one most recently, I was going to stop completely, and I've never done this since I've started. I was going to completely stop everything and shut down for a minimum of 6 months. And my last shows were coming up at the end of August. And one of my dear friends around here, Big Jim Anderson, he unexpectedly passed away.
Oh,
he was, yeah, I appreciate that. It really hit our community around here, and the reach. He had a far reach, but the community around here, we were, and it's still not the same. And it's been, wow, like late August. I was at his last match. I recorded it. Nobody does promos at the shows. I do. I will go up to anybody and ask anyone, hey, can I do a quick promo? And he put the champion, Flash Waller, through a table pre-show. So I kind of went up to him and started messing with him, because he was a heel. And, you know, he's a gorilla. And he came at me because I'm 130 pounds, 5'10". and I'm built like a candle. That's my gig. I'm built like a fucking candle. So I had fun with him. I recorded his last match. I recorded his last promo. He passed away within a week later. And shit, I forgot where I was going with this. I'm so sorry. The mental state.
You were quitting completely.
Oh yes, quitting completely. And then Big Jim passed away. And I cried like a fucking baby, man. There was a few reasons behind my sorrow, except for the love I had for him. But I sat back that very night that he passed away, and I go, if I stop going to the shows, and another one of my friends that I've made these close connections with gets in a car accident, slips and falls in the fucking tub and is all done, I would hate seeing something on Facebook and me not ever seeing them in the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So Big Jim's passing, I haven't stopped at all. And I don't care what happens in my life. In Big Jim's name, I won't.
That is, oh my God,
That's incredible. Thank
Yeah,
you
that
so
is
much for sharing that with us.
absolutely inspiring.
Because I know
Oh.
that, I've certainly had my battles with should this continue or shouldn't it continue. And it's kind of funny because, like, around that same time, August, September of this year, I was kind of thinking, where is this show going a little bit? But I had that done in my mind. No, this is keep going. We've come too far not to keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't thought of Big Jim like that in a while. And I love that. I love that dude. And there is something that and that's kind of where I'll leave it with question one on that part. Boys and girls, if you're a fan, if you're a wrestler, especially if you're a wrestler, because you're the main reason why we go to the shows. Keep your mental state good. If you're not feeling it, back the fuck out, take a step back, because wrestling is going to be there. Period. It's not going anywhere. It hasn't in so many years since its inception, and it's not going to go anywhere. When you get your shit right, it's going to be waiting for you. And I know that the ones that don't step back, they hurt themselves more and the people around them. If you're feeling fucked up, do something about it. Reach out. All it is, with the technology we have, there is no reason why you cannot reach out to a friend and find some support. That's my message for that one. And please take that. Please just utilize that if you ever feel fucked up. You guys made me cry. Oh my God, I haven't. Holy fuck. Now I want to go to the second part of the question because it is something that I glossed over on my calendar, and it was for a specific reason. I am not a trained wrestler. I will totally be fully transparent. I have never taken a bump in my life. I have been part of a storyline as of very recently, October 23rd, and previous, but just not in a full event capacity, if you will. Oh no, I was a oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to glance over this. I was a lumberjack.
I was going to ask about this. Yes.
I was a lumberjack. Oh my God. You want to know why? Because my man El Jabroni, I'm his #1 fan, and I worship the ground. I worship the ground that the kid walks on. He's got a 33-pound head. He's a luchador. He's beautiful. He's hairy. I love him. He looks like a Wookiee with a mask, but I love him to pieces. Yeah, but he's disappeared because he got his face ripped off by Ryan Frost and TJ Howell III sometime back, even pre-COVID here. And he hasn't shown up. And I've been trying to do a campaign, hashtag Where in the World is Jay Brony, all in capital letters, specifically. And anybody who's associated with that company being Tessa Strength, who does not like El Jabroni, shits down my throat every single time that I do hashtag Where in the World is El Jabroni. But I was a lumberjack in a match, and I came out on the shoulders to Eye of the Tiger on El Jabroni's shoulder, and it was the most majestic thing I've ever done in my life. It was amazing. If you want to check it out, I'm sure you could go on my page and just type in El Jabroni. How could I put lumberjack? That could associate some memories with that memory right there. I was a lumberjack there, and that was something. I almost got folded in half. I almost got whipped with a kendo stick by Jake Diavol at the time, and said lumberjack duties. That was pretty scary. Actually, I was recording a match. Dirtbag Dan. Okay, there was Yusuf 13 in front of me, Dan Gore in front of me, and Dirtbag Dan was in the ring. He ran to the other side of the ring. He slingshot himself over. He came through the ropes, looked like a suicide dive. It turned into a spinning wheel kick. These two guys parted like the Red Sea, and this motherfucker kicked me right in my fucking head.
Oh.
And it goes like this. You could look up the footage. All you have to type in are these two words, air dirt, on my page, and you guys will pee yourself probably watching this shit. And it goes something like this. Fight forever. Ba, 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 ba. Fight for... My phone goes on the ground. And then it goes like this. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. I pick up my phone. I put it on my face. I whine about getting a fucking dirtbag bump. And I've got road rash. I've been filthy because Dirtbag Dan is the filthiest fuck you know.
Yep.
I've been filthy-eyed by Dirtbag Dan himself. I was woozy. I was semi-concussed. And it was something to behold. Some of my all-time favorite footage. I adore it and love it forever. Please, if you want to have some fun, type in those two words, air dirt. You can't miss it. It is amazing. And not only that, his cousin, who's an active wrestler, Johnny Chill, he was sitting to the right of me. He asked me to move over 2 seats. One seat, so he could sit just a little bit closer to the middle of the ring. My ass, this motherfucker set me up, and I took it. I took it.
I was gonna say you were totally set up there.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. He didn't move me to the left. We reversed. That's what it was. We reversed positions. That's exactly what it was. It was me, my dad, and then Johnny Chill. You want to see a fucking kid piss himself laughing? Watch this kid at the end of me getting knocked in the head. Oh my God. So that happened. Let's see. I've done commentary for a company. That was interesting because they wanted me to do commentary, but heel version. And I'm a face guy no matter where I go. So it was very odd, very uncomfortable, and very forced. And my first show, I will use these 3 words. The drizzling shit. Let me tell you right there, boys. It was horrible. The second show, what I did was I took the guy's name who I was working with, and I wrote down all names that began with M, and I used them all to fuck with them. And the promoter loved every second of it, and we had a blast.
Is commentary something you enjoy doing?
I would love to do more of it, but I've been offered it. Specifically, I can't say where it was because I was offered, and I could probably have that position right now, still doing it. It was approximately offered to me about a year and a half ago, right about when the vid was really fucking shit up. And companies had to figure out what they were going to do, how they were going to revamp. What do we do now? Like everything's going to change. So I was asked to join a team. They were going to do a little rebranding and join the team as a color commentary. They thought I would be absolutely perfect for it. And I found myself thinking, I think that would be an amazing time, but then I would be tied to dates. I would be tied to promotion. What if said promotion gets caught up in these fucking speaking out movements and these all of these things that have been going on since just right about pre-COVID? There's a lot of things that have gone on in these past 2 years that really fuck up a name for a promotion. I didn't want to be tied to a promotion and tied to dates, because me as a fan, I want to go do what I want to do, and I am not going to listen to anybody's whining, bullshit, drama, politics from promotion to promotion and tell me what I can and cannot do, because I do this for all of you. Don't give me shit about it. That was my perception. That was my motto, if you will. And that's what I always kept inside and never would put out loud, because I lift all talent. I don't care who you are.
Now,
That's awesome. I love that.
yeah, I'm gonna share this story with you, Don. And I think this is gonna be the last time I ever share this on the
Oh,
show.
wow. Okay.
About you're talking about your first night, and it gets me thinking about my first night, and I want to ask you about your experience in the NYWC Sportatorium. The one time you were been there.
I've never been there, my friend.
Oh, I could have sworn you mentioned in an interview with Matthias.
I was supposed to. We had it all set up, and then it did not pan out. It did not. Yes.
Okay, well, but Matthias started at the same time as me.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, back when he was just Matthias.
Gotcha.
But going back to the first night, and James has heard this story many times, and as far as I know, as my last look, this clip has apparently been removed from the internet. So now there's only one clip of me as NYWC ring announcer, but it's literally my first night in the ring as a NYWC ring announcer. I'm
Surprised you
taking
don't
over.
have it sync on your computer at this point.
I thought I did. I really thought I did. And I stupidly decided to dye my hair blonde the night before. And they said, no, go get your hair cut and then come back. So I did that. But my first night, I'm trying to be professional. I'm trying to, I'm trying not to overshadow anybody in the ring. But my first match announcing is for the it's a women's match for the WSU Spirit Championship. Brittany Savage with Rick Cataldo against former TNA Knockout and wife of Frankie Kazarian, Tracy Brooks. And anybody who knows Tracy Brooks knows, oh God, oh man, she revs a couple motors. So I'm announcing, and she starts bouncing up and down in front of me. She starts literally jumping up and down in front of me, trying to get me to corpse, essentially. And I'm not. And then I'm like going with it. And all of a sudden, then she hugs me. And like people are like chatting my name, like, yeah, woo, Scooter. And then in the middle of my introduction, she grabs my head and stuffs it in her cleavage.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? I went on with it, and to this day, I can't ever be, I think, within 100 meters of Frankie Kazarian, because he still wants to kill me. Because but that was the hazing night, so to speak. Of my first night, and then of course the only time I ever actually was part of a storyline, was supposed to be a big part of a storyline. A talent who is who I'm not sure if he competes anymore, but he's big up in the New England. He used to be big up in the New England area. Josh Daniels. Uh, uh,
He was around for a bit. I don't believe he's been around for a bit though.
there was a they were we were starting a storyline where he was taking out all of the rookies. Now keep in mind, I was one of the freshest faced rookies of along with training alongside a group of Alex Reynolds, John Silver, Tony Nese, Papa Don. This is the place that birthed Brian Myers and Matt Cardona. And I get the shit beat out of me in the ring by Josh Daniels at the start of a show, and the whole thing was supposed to be about he's been driven to drink because he thinks rookies are getting more opportunities than he is, and this is supposed to be some sort of rookie revolution, and I was supposed to lead the rookies into like a I don't know what the main goal would be. But unfortunately things again this goes back to that mental health aspect. Unfortunately, at the time that locker room was not the best place for fostering positive mental health. But again, just and going back on all of this, and all some of our guests have even said, if I ever want to get back in the ring and find myself in their neck of the woods, they'd be happy to get me back into trading condition for at least one more match. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that because of my spine, but again, just it all goes back just to that passion, that love, and honestly, if I don't shut up, we probably won't ever finish this interview. But then again, it's not an interview. I mean,
no, not at all.
I think James and I can agree we've completely gone off the rails in the best way.
Absolutely. And all of that because there's so many promotions to check out. You can only check out so much stuff. You can only go so far from your reach. You can only drive so many hours away from home to go one way. So it's been a little more local promotion for me. So yes, I still want to be out there, but I've kind of not drove 2-3 hours anymore on a regular basis because it really does start taking that toll on you. So I'll go an hour and a half. And I'm a little more comfortable doing that. Am I going to way less shows now? Yeah, that's a definite thing. But still having a lot of fun.
Well,
and there was a storyline that I was kind of starting to touch upon a little bit, and we both got way off topic. But there was a storyline that I started touching upon, and with these two jackasses, they like to call themselves Buff Inc. collectively, and they're a father-son team. One is called the Buff Dad, and the other one is Two Buff. And they're Rhode Island guys, and they made their way to Battlefront Pro Wrestling in Ludlow, Massachusetts. And I ended up getting put into what is called the Buff Clutch, which is a full Nelson face down on the mat with him sitting on my back and stretching me, looking up at the sky. While his father pointed and laughed. And there was Furio Falcone. We had Jay Baker, the American Luchador champion. He tried saving me with no avail. Saru, the highest flying monkey, he tried to save me with no avail. Q the ref, he tried saving me with no avail. And out came my hero. Literally, he's a superhero, the Mighty Bosch, along with his sidekick, the Sid Morgan. They came out, saved the day, and that has led up into something, and I have still yet to sign a contract on this. I don't know what the hell this company is thinking about. There is a match that is signed for Sunday, December 5th, and it's in 4 o'clock in the afternoon is bell time. Ludlow, Massachusetts, for Battlefront Pro Wrestling. The Jiggy Who Stole Christmas, a Battlefront story. That's the name of the event. I'm in a tag match with the Mighty Bosch against 2Buff and Buff Inc.
So this might be the last interview of Don Kincaid, is what you're saying.
As you laugh at my demise, as many others have, thank you so much, my friend.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yes.
It's not that far for me to get out to Connecticut. It's just a train ride away. You may find me in the crowd there to back you up at some point.
Well, if you're feeling froggy and you want to see something absolutely, I could die. So now he pretty much says I'm gonna die. He laughs about it, and then you respond by saying, "I think I'm gonna take a train and watch this shit." You guys are horrible. You guys are absolutely horrible.
Oh no, I was gonna say take a train to be in your corner.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh
he's
wow.
trying to
Now
help
that,
you.
okay. Okay,
Yeah.
that's something different.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, who says the face is not really fair? Let's do this is what's going on too.
We're trying to help you. We're always about to help.
So I do have that to look forward to this coming Sunday, which is legit right around the corner, and I am shitting my pants legit. I've been asked what my gear is going to be, and only a very, very select few know, and I'm bringing back a throwback. That's what I'm doing. I am going to make this look come back. I am bringing back a look in wrestling that is only done once and once only, and it's coming back, and I'm gonna make it a thing.
You're gonna wear a Bastion Booger singlet.
All right. All right. I don't. If you remember, a ways back, I said I am 130 pounds, 5'10". You are not going to see this motherfucker in a singlet. There is no way. Built like a candle. Built like a candle. Remember, boys? Right? That ain't happening.
Then I'm thinking James Ellsworth.
So again, that's happening Sunday, December 5th. But I want to backtrack to December 4th, if I may, because. Test of Strength, they're based out of East Hartford, Connecticut, and it's run. Oh, and something I wanted to say about Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling out of East Haven, Connecticut. They're run by Mario Mancini, former WWF guy, actually, not WWE. And he ran with them all. Savage, Jake the Snake. He was Undertaker's first match, if you will. Paul Roma is another guy behind the scenes over there running the show. So you have Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. I say this with reason because they have a training facility. They do this stuff. And then again, to Test of Strength, that's run by Slick Wagner Brown, Kowalski guy.
Yes.
So he's running that out of East Hartford, Connecticut. Again, that's a training facility, breeding, molding some amazing talent coming out of there as well. And that's what brings me to December 4th, because they have an event coming out this Saturday coming up, and it's called Sweet Christmas, and they are traveling to East Hampton, Massachusetts at the Pulaski Club. And Vincent, since ROH has released all of their contracts and all of their talent on a hiatus, they're all picking up dates. And Vincent and Vita Von Star are stopping by Test of Strength. And it's going to be a tag team with a upcomer, the Grapple God, GAWD. Get it correct, the Grapple God. I call him the Snapple God. He hates it. I love it. It's going to be the Grapple God, Jordan Rowe, tag teaming with Vincent, coming out to the ring with Vita Von Star versus Matthias and Slick Wagner Brown. Okay? I wanted to mention that because you guys are Matthias guys over there, and I know you dig that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. I haven't seen Vincent since he was in short hair just becoming that newest part, that newest version of the Kingdom with TKO over when Matt Taven was breeding these guys and molding them in NEW in Bethany. So I haven't seen him in quite some time. That's going to be a pleasure. But there is one match that I wanted to mention that's really on my fucking radar that I wanted to mention is Mike Skyros versus Bobby Ocean, hard-hitting Bobby Ocean, along with Jimmy Mees out to the ring with him. This is going to be a 2 out of 3 falls, and it's a #1 contendership for the Test of Strength Championship. And let me tell you, this has been building up over the course of the past year to 2 years. And I am telling you guys, this is going to be the special one out of all of them. I love me some Vincent. This is going to be the match that is going to shine in this event, and I cannot wait for that specifically. So just to reiterate, December 4th, Test of Strength, the Pulaski Club in East Hampton, Mass. Check it out. I'm sure you can grab tickets at the door. December 5th, Battlefront Pro Wrestling, the Ludlow Elks, 69 Chapin Street in Ludlow, Mass. I'm sure you can get some tickets over there, general admission type stuff, because front row and second row usually sell out pretty quick at these events. And then the general admission kind of trickles in, and then they usually have some at the door. So this is going to be a weekend that I will never forget, and I may not live through. So you guys interviewing me, you may have hit it on the head with, you may never hear from me again. Who knows? We'll have to see where this goes.
Hashtag aid for Kincaid.
Oh my God, look at you. But there is going to be
Sounds like a good time.
so much. It's going to be crazy. It is going to be a crazy, a hootenanny, if you will. There's going to be a lot of tomfoolery going on. It's just going to be absolutely fucking mind-boggling. I am going to be in a tag match, and oh my God.
Can you tell
That
us?
is, go ahead, my friend, please. I've said way too much.
What's something you wish you knew from the last interview you did that you didn't know during your first? Because you're like 300 deep in now.
Say that question one more time if you could. I am so sorry.
What was something you wish you knew from the last interview you did that you didn't know during your first interview?
The last interview I did was, let's see. That
Just
was
essentially
just
something you know now that you wish you kind of knew back then when you first started.
Speaking to Mike Law, he's a different animal because I'm very shticky for most of my interviews, if you will. I kind of take what I do at the shows and I use it as material, and we get to have fun with it. But with Mike Law, he's a different animal, to be honest with you, because he's had a 20+ year tenure already here. I mean, 1998, he had his first match in 2001. He's active for 10 years. Then 2011, he goes behind the scenes. He's a promoter. He's a booker. He's getting sponsorships for the company to bring in revenue. He's helping the boys and girls to figure out what they're going to do. He's getting the talent, all of what it takes to put on events. 2015, he stops. He becomes an active wrestler again to the present time. So talking to Mike Law specifically being my last one, and that's actually, this question is probably very perfect because of Mike Law. Learning all aspects of the business is beyond essential for anyone's wrestling career. As me and Mr. Law were speaking, if you are a wrestler, you get it from a wrestler's point of view. The move set, your gear, your character, what you're supposed to do. The psychology doesn't always come with wrestlers that are upcoming. The psychology a lot of the times, all depending on your training and who brought you up, gets pushed to the wayside and isn't utilized as it should be in your first upcoming couple years. So when you're a wrestler, you see it at one point of view. But when you grab a microphone and you're in the ring as an announcer, you're seeing it from another point of view. When you put on the stripes and you're a referee, you're filling in for a night, you've learned how to referee and you have to do a fill-in. You can do that. You get called up real quick. You can be utilized like that. You could be a jack of all trades in the business. You see that from a different point of view, and et cetera, et cetera. Then you take those experiences, the psychology you would have for your character, for your moveset, how you would perceive yourself in a ring against your opponent is going to be just mind-altering on what you're going to be able to do in the ring. And again, I'm not in that ring. This is what I get, what I've seen from a distance, being in a locker room, hearing some of the conversations. I think what I've just said is just an immense amount of the psychology end of it, because it brings so much to the table that you would never have thought about before. And then going to the first one, I just was an idiot and wanted to be a jerky and have a lot of fun, but still getting a very serious story of Yusef 13 having a fucked up spine, never possibly walking again, and being a wrestler, and a professional wrestler, training to be a professional wrestler a year to a year and a half later. How fucking inspiring is that? And that's why I started Stirring the Pot, is because I talked to this guy hanging out, smoking a little of the old fucking devil's lettuce, and we were just chit-chatting, and he told me his like legit story, and I go, I want to start an interview thing, and I want to use that story as my first one. He looked at me and he was like, no fucking way. And I go, yes fucking way. And that's how Stirring the Pot was born.
That's awesome. And I was kind of expecting the thing you know now that you wish you knew back then was, if it looks like chloroform and it smells like chloroform, it's probably chloroform.
Oh my God! You fucking! Oh, are you serious? You're bringing back not only once, but the motherfucker chloroformed me twice.
Oh my God, twice? I thought it was only a one-time thing.
No, there was once outside in the front of the building, and then I woke up again, all tied up, and then he chloroformed me again, and then I woke up again, and he gave me a bag of chickpeas to cut the cuffs off of my wrists. Oh, fuck, man. I cannot believe you talk about chloroforming like it's no big deal. Wow. I thought we were friends here. I thought we had a relationship building here. Wow.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get the story here. I'm trying to...
No. You know what? That's good journalism, my man. You know what? You do research, and you, boys and girls, whoever's listening to this, do not do it like I do it. I am an asshole. I am a complete asshole doing it this way. You do not know how nerve-wracking it is trying to come up with material on the fly and never researching, especially when it comes to a new talent that you've never met or has never been interviewed before from a different state, a different part of the country. It is nerve-wracking as fuck. Do I love it? Absolutely, and I will never change doing it. But I will reiterate, PSA, do not do it the way I do it. Do your research. Go on the medias, go on the Google, go on the tube, whatever you got to do to research the talent, and do your due diligence, just like my guys did here, bringing up the old chloroform. You sons of bitch.
I was just going to reiterate what you just said, because even from day one when I started doing these interviews, I cannot do this without writing down my questions, and if I don't have my questions in front of me, I become very lost. And you're opposite. You don't write anything down. You go off the cuff, and just hearing how you do it, it's kind of terrifies me, to be honest. Because I would never be able to do that.
I know how I do, James.
On the bottom, when I put out my videos on the of the Stirring the Pots, it says on the bottom, there's a couple things that it says, but one of the things that is listed in there is it dangerous? Absolutely. Is it an absolute blast? Absolutely. And I kind of live by that for the Stirring the Pots because I utilized that from doing the promos that I started doing with the talents. That is just something in its own right. That was quite the interesting event, let me tell you. That was something else doing when Stirring the Kincaid Files, I should say, doing the promos. That came on took on a life of its own, and it became the Kincaid Files, if you will. So that's where that comes from, is me just doing on the fly, on the spot promos, no matter how they come out. I don't edit them. I never edit anything that I do. None of my interviews are ever, not a second is ever edited. Everything is full, raw content. I don't do smoke and mirrors. I do raw footage. That's the way I like it. When I was in a band and we recorded our album back in 2000, we recorded our album in its entirety, raw footage. And when it came down to the album, 80% of that is one take. The rest of it is revamping the vocals, revamping the lead guitars, and revamping some background vocals. That entire album is 80% one take, one cut. That's it. No bullshit. And that's the way I looked back on my band days, and I took that onto doing what I do now.
Is that
by
the way?
And that's why I do it, to be honest with you. Should I do research? Absolutely. I do find myself stuck, not really stuck for words, but at times when we're in the middle of conversation, I'm almost thinking, where do I go? How do I get away from this topic to another topic? And like, I don't want to ask the same exact questions that I do to every wrestler because I want each one to be different. But some of the questions do have to come up. I want to ask them if they watch the current product because I'm very curious as a fan who watches and who doesn't and for why. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Some of that stuff might come up, but I always try to do them very differently from one to another.
That band you mentioned, is that Epitaph?
The band, no, actually, Epitaph was a 3-show thing. I'm a rhythm guitar player, is my comfort zone. And I was in a band called High Octane for about 6 years.
That was
we
the
did
other
that.
thing I had here.
Yes, we did the hair band thing, the Motley Crue, the Whitesnake, and Rat, and Autograph, and Kingdom Come, and fucking Bullet Boys, and Poison, and all of that shit. We did all of that stuff. That was our flavor. But Epitaph was, I learned bass. I had a little help from my fam. They bought me a bass. I got myself a bass amp. My nephew needed a bass player to finish off his band. I've never played bass in my life, and I learned 32 songs in 3 weeks.
Wow.
And no, 36 songs. I'm sorry, 36 songs in 3 weeks. And we went to Bleachers Sports Bar. No, Legends Sports Bar over on Pine Street in Bristol, Connecticut. And we played our first show, and it was fucking amazing. Being able to play in a bar while you're doing shit like, we didn't want to do all of the regular shit, but you have to splash in some of the staple stuff. So we would do like a Born to Be Wild in our own little flavor, if you will. But we're turning around and doing fucking No Remorse by Metallica and hoping nobody leaves, and everybody came closer. It was fucking amazing. But my point being is, I'm sorry, I got way off base here.
Oh no, absolutely. You're talking to a Metallica fan.
Oh, dude, being able to pull off No Remorse with my guys on that specific night was absolutely hair standing, goosebumps, mind altering, an unforgettable moment, because that video is on my media, and we were supposed to be a wedding band for a friend of mine and his fiance that they popped a question on High Octane stage. They wanted Epitaph to be their wedding band just because we played No Remorse live there that night.
That's awesome. That's crazy.
And I forgot how we got to the band stuff. I forgot where we were originally. I am
No,
so sorry.
no, that's where Scooter asked you about the band.
Yeah, you were talking about the band. I had a question written down about the Epitaph and High Octane performances. Again, going back to the showing you that we really did do our research and went all the way back to the start of your YouTube channel.
You boys did, man, because oh my God, if you scrolled all the way, can I speak on that? Is that cool?
Yeah, go on.
If you guys scrolled all the way back to my YouTube on the bottom, you'll notice that it started in little clips of High Octane in a black room with some lights. And this was at our bass player's. He was running an appliance repair joint, and him, his workers, his family, he got everybody together and they emptied this fucking place and put all of the appliances outside in the motherfucking parking lot. They put up black fucking tablecloths like at iParty. My singer did. He bought a bunch of them. We brought in lights. They brought in my bass player brought in some of his family and some of his workers. And we were having, after a year of playing in the basement and getting our shit polished and ready to hit the road, we had a dressing rehearsal in this motherfucker's appliance repair shop with all of his work sitting outside in the fucking parking lot while we jammed like we were goddamn rock stars. It was the crazy. Isn't that amazing? I've never thought I would do something like that. And we rocked out a bunch of songs to see how our feel would be. Was it legit enough, good enough to be out on the road? Because same with being a wrestler, we weren't half-assing it. We were going note for note. If a lead guitarist that we auditioned is coming in and pretending to play whatever as a solo, Jack, hit the fucking bricks. We're not dealing with that. We wanted note for note. We wanted professionalism. We had professional gear. We sounded good. We wanted to do all of the background vocals. We wanted to make it right. We were bringing in a full light show. We had our own PA system. We were bringing it, and we weren't jerking around. And that was the reason behind doing the dress rehearsal. How were the notes hitting? How were the people? And there was about maybe 20 people hanging out. I was nervous as fuck doing that. Are you kidding me? But were they responding to what we were doing? And then after the fact, I'm like, okay, were you guys just kissing up our, because, Jeff is your uncle and your cousin and, this and that. And they were like, no, you guys were fantastic. So that was our little litmus test to take the band on the road. And we were on the road and we did the tri-state, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts for fucking 6 years straight, nonstop. I was the booker. I made the posters. I did the web pages. I did the Facebook, all the media. I did 90. I will say I did 95% of the booking. There was a couple guys that sprinkled in some stuff. I don't want to take all the credit on that. And I wanted us to be out there. The most shows we did in 1 year was 70 shows. For a cover band, that's a lot of fucking road time, a lot of shows. And then our average was about, on that 45, 50, 55 mark. I'll say like 50 shows I tried to keep an average. A lot of fun, a lot of meeting new people. Great times, would never change it. It was just an absolute blast. And I felt the band was at an end, if you will, because we had some member changes. Our original guitarist, we had guitar issues. Whatever it was, there was our core four. myself, my singer, my drummer, and my bass player. Our lead guitarist, it was always kind of weird. So we went through a couple lead guitarists, and we had one for most of our tenure, to be honest with you, which was really good because he was just absolutely amazing. Um, but when I felt the fizzle, we kind of called it a day, and then I was bored and I didn't know what to do. So I ended up I looked up on Facebook pro wrestling. That's all I looked up, local pro wrestling. And I ended up finding a place up in South Hadley. They were having a show that night. I went up, I paid $10. I got in the crowd, and I haven't stopped ever since.
That's crazy how one thing led to another.
Yeah.
Hmm. And music and wrestling are very correlated and mesh so well. As I said to Mike Law, you could jot down what you think all the similarities are, and then you could jot down what you think the things that aren't similar, and they're so going to outweigh each other because there are so many similarities, from the booking to the people you have to deal with to get the envelope to everything that you have to do for marketing and your own branding and all of that shit. So it's just such a cool environment, wrestling is. And I really grasped onto being in that indie vibe. And I've always been a wrestling fan. And I've been to the indie shows before, but nothing like this. I've sprinkled in indie wrestling here and there throughout my life, but nothing like I'm doing now. Not at all.
Now going back to your YouTube page, I clicked the playlist for Storing the Pot. You have an episode 7 and you have an episode 9, but episode 8 is private.
Episode 8 is not there?
Episode 8 is not there.
Really? Look at you digging and digging and digging. My man, you are on your fucking game.
Who
Wow,
was episode 8? I
we
really
are
want to know
going,
that.
we're definitely gonna have to dig into that some bitch because, you know, now the reason why I started the conversation of being at the bottom of the page, I only started this YouTube page for the band, and it never gained a goddamn inch of steam. I had 16 subscribers for fucking years, and I started it in like 2009. And for years and years, throughout the whole tenure of our band, it just never gained any steam. And then when I was doing this uh, footage and stuff, I was deleting all of my stuff that I started with for a good couple years. I never kept any of my stuff. And I was like, why don't I start saving some of it and putting it on the old YouTube, and maybe I'll change it up a little bit on the channel since I have the channel. And I was hoping if I could get at least 100 people, I would be just like immensely, so like overjoyed and just so stoked that I could get 100 people to view my stuff. And then things just started taking off like really, really crazy. Whenever it hit 1,000, I was losing my ever loving mind. And since it's got to 1,000, it just hasn't stopped. And I'm like right around the corner from 14,000. I only need I think maybe 10. And again, I lose my mind every time I see these numbers start cranking. And I'm not trying to say that I got this crazy thing going on. I'm just saying it's just so insane that my motto for me, when people ask me who I am, like I've been asked that, well, who are you? And I go, I'm a dude with a phone. That's all I am. The talent will say, no, you're not. And I will always say, yes, the fuck I am. And I will never stray from that because that's exactly who I am. The talent have made me more important than I should be. I might be wrong on saying that, but they really feel what I do for them unwillingly and unselfishly is very important to them, and I will always love every single one of them for that. Absolutely. But as I've been I see. I've been filibustering going down on my channel, and I know the exact reason why, and we'll get into that.
All right, let's get into it.
All right. This is one of my all-time favorite episodes, and it was with Jake Sampson because he lives 3 hours away from me, and I didn't want to do the travel one way because I was doing face-to-face interviews. And this was at a Test of Strength show. It was at Tazarax. It's now called 518 or 558 or 538 Main, some shit in Naugatuck. And Test of Strength was doing a show there, and they have this cool little outside area you can hang out in. And I was doing my interview outside with a couple microphones hooked into my aux and my phone, and I was just putting it on a tripod. That's how I do my show. That's it. It's a one-man show.
It's just a phone?
That's it. I use my phone for everything, my man. I don't do anything with a computer. All my graphics, everything that I do, anything you've ever seen from me is through my phone. All legit. True shit.
What kind of phone is it?
At the time, I was using an S6.
Galaxy.
And then, yes. And then 2 years ago, coming up this Christmas, I've been running an S10e.
Okay,
which is where...
Sorry for the sidetrack.
No. That's quite all right, because going from the 6 to the 10e, obviously the video quality is just insane different and high res, and I can save shit at 4K. But the flip side of that is bringing up a match that's about 16 minutes on my YouTube now. It takes a solid hour instead of maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So it gets very time consuming on the uploading for the events and whatnot. But back to episode 8, we were outside and I was interviewing Jake Sampson. We were having an absolute blast. So I have a lapel mic that's hooked into my auxiliary, and it splits out into 2 lapel mics, and that's how we do it. All right. So now I've got Joanna Robinson. I've got Caddy Tucker, and these are all characters part of the company. Some are before, but some aren't now. And then we have, and I'm just going to put this out there. It might be a sour note with many, but this is the reason behind, and I do full transparency. I don't do smoke and mirrors. So there was Joanna Robinson, we had Jake Sampson, we had Caddy Tucker, and then we had Mark Adam Haggerty. Mark Adam Haggerty, at that time in his career, he touched a lot of people's hearts, one being mine. I adored that son of a bitch with all of my fiber to a degree. In certain instances, we were even communicating privately about stuff, just like real life, legit shit on the side that he's helped me with, that I've helped him with. And then, again, one of my most favorite episodes, and it's only fucking 30 minutes long at best. It's like 26 minutes, 49 seconds. And that's one of my very shorter episodes. But we had so much fun, and it got so chaotic. It became smoking the pot with Mark Haggerty because they kicked me off my own goddamn show. They legit kicked me to the fucking curb. And I loved every moment of it. It was so much fun. But then, Titan, and I'm not tying. I will never tie promotions with all of this speaking out stuff. But I have to use it in a timeline because I'm using it to the best of my ability. So a disclaimer before I go further is Titan Championship Wrestling is not, and from the very day or that very evening, is not affiliated with anything Mark Adam Haggerty. I just want to say that before I go further, because people get shit misconstrued, and I want to be. When I put stuff up on the media, I want it to be clear. I want it to be informational, and I don't want people's perception to get fucked up and start dumb shit. So I started with the disclaimer. Mark Haggerty was doing the return of wrestling, was coming back post Kincaid. Kid COVID. You see, I love saying that, Kid COVID. Never mind. And now Titan Championship Wrestling was doing something very unique. We can't go into buildings because of all of the laws going on. So Titan Championship Wrestling got a ring, put a canopy over it, and they did what they called a drive-in. They took 22 cars and they surrounded them face in to the ring, and they had everybody chill in their cars, and they had an event at Titan Championship Wrestling. That was, I believe that was legit their first show as a company, because they're not a very old company, and they're based out of New Jersey. If you haven't heard of Titan Championship Wrestling, check them out. The talent is fucking legit. Some really cool shit going on over there, and their championship is absolutely fucking beautiful.
That's awesome.
And same thing with Test of Strength. Absolutely one of my all-time favorite championships. They just revamped their big belt. Unfucking believable. It's just mind-altering. But back to the whole topic. I am very sorry. I see a squirrel and I chase it. I am so sorry.
Oh, no worries. I love the side tracks. We get cool information.
Now, Titan Championship Wrestling was having this drive-in event. They figured they were going to bring in Mark Adam Haggerty as one of their main guys. He was their ring announcer, and he doubled up as their commentator, along with, I believe, who is now their guy, David Adams. If I'm not mistaken, he's still their guy. And alongside Rob Williams, that I spoke of earlier, he is now on the Titan Championship commentary team. So Mark Haggerty was playing a double duty that night. Ring announcer and commentary, they were doing everything Facebook Live. So I was watching every second of this event. I was not fucking leaving, because this was so cool for me, so unique, and I was loving all of it. And I love me some goddamn Mark Haggerty. So the event ends. We'll say, I don't know, around 10 o'clock. Maybe even a little bit less than that. On Twitter, about 10 after 10, someone calls out Mark Adam Haggerty. By 10:30, no, by 10:20, it was very precise because I timelined it. It was like 10:26 or 10:27 p.m. Everything Mark Adam Haggerty for social media was absolutely wiped fucking clean. Done. It blew me away on how quickly everything was scrubbed, if you will. I'll use that word instead. It looked like it was just scrubbed. He even had seminars out there that people were paying $20 for. And it was social media seminars. He was doing them in person. He couldn't do them anymore in person, so he put together a disc thing, and they're pretty informational. I bought in, but it was supposed to be a continual thing, and it was very fresh, so everybody got fucked out of their money. And he sold about 500 units. I call that about $10,000 of fucking people out of their money. And that wasn't even the bigger point. The bigger point was the speaking out story.
Right.
Before 10:30 p.m., Titan Championship Wrestling and who is it? There were two companies, very specific. I can't think of the other one, and I'm not going to make up names because that's not what I do. They released him of any ties at all on their page with the news coming out, blah, blah, blah. We no longer, blah, blah, blah. And there were two companies that did it that specific night, well before midnight ever hit. Once midnight hit and this shit started going around, every mother company that had anything to do with Mark Adam Haggerty were all cutting ties.
Wow.
So, what do I do as a media guy who is very neutral? I never make waves. I'm very transparent. I don't edit anything. I've even been asked, and I say no. I apologize, but I don't edit anything, and I won't start by changing my morals and my perception of what I wanted out of this. I want, like we spoken, the music, the interviews, the footage. I want everything raw. That's my gig. That's my vibe. I don't change it. But I reached out to a couple people, and they were on the promotion end. And I asked their advice what I should do with this interview because I love me some Jake Sampson. I love me some Joanna Robinson, and I love me some fucking Caddy Tucker. But this thing with Mark Adam Haggerty is very unsettling. What do I do with it?
Right.
Both of them were like this. Keep it up and hope that you don't get backlash and then deal with it at that time. Or don't delete it because that's part of your history of what you've done. That's your product. Don't delete it. Don't wash it away. Just unlist it so you can still have it. And I took that advice and it's been on lock. So that name, if anyone types Mark Adam Haggerty, it will not come up on my YouTube. And I say this up front, and I use the word transparent a lot, and maybe too much, but I like to be that. Because I don't want to be known as someone who pulls punches or who will like make up stories for a wrestler because they have a problem with a promotion, or make up a story for a promotion that has a problem with a wrestler because of X or whatever. So I say this in full transparency why episode 8 is not on my channel, because of Mark Adam Haggerty specifically. And I know that was kind of a long story. There was a lot to kind of really throw in there to give you the full picture. And without the people that don't know Mark Adam Haggerty, the story that came out, and it was from a wrestler, and it threw me against the wall, because the wrestler who put it out originally is totally drama free. For him to put it out, I was just like, holy fuck, this is totally legit. And there were screenshots and all of that good stuff. So I don't want his name associated with Stirring the Pot or the Kincaid Files or Don Kincaid. That's pretty much why I put episode 8 on lock. And my friend, I am so glad you asked me, because if you didn't, I would have never known, and I would have probably gone through one day and be like, what the fuck, you know, and I probably would have cried a tear.
No, honestly, I wasn't expecting that answer. I just thought, you might have forgotten to list it because I've done that before.
Wouldn't that be the easy answer, and would have only taken about 13 seconds to answer?
Very true. But that was definitely an answer I wasn't expecting. So, and that's why I love asking questions like that.
But that's doing your research. You got that out of me. If I were to be you interviewing me, I wouldn't have gotten that material out there. I wouldn't have gotten that conversation that we just had. Was it an organic conversation? Absolutely. But it was a question that was prepped. I would have never had that question. Those are the differences, though. You see what I'm saying? You can, and again, there was another gentleman, Ray Latour. He loves everything that I was bringing to the table as an interviewer, because I do everything on the fly. And he goes, I don't know how you do that. And I kind of look at you like, how the fuck can I do that? Don't do that. Do what is professional. Do what you should be doing, the research and the this and that, because it's not made for everyone. You have to have a decent set of nuts to try to pull this off. And again, I am not patting myself on the back. It's just the way I do it and the way I wanted to do it, you know?
Right. And the way I do it is, like you said, all you have to do is throw a name into Google, and the information's out there. And not going to what to you specifically, but a lot of other interviewers don't take that time to, you know, put that research in. Look who
Mhm.
watch a match, watch an interview, see who this person get a feel for this person. Because some
Right.
of these people, if you dig just a little bit deeper, there's a wealth of information that you can find. I mean, like just right now, I was on your YouTube page. I saw one video was private. I thought that would be a good question, and look what we got out of
that
it.
that's an amazing point, because we wouldn't have got that conversation, and it brings me to something that I did. I filled in for someone, Mr. Relator, actually. He was under the weather, and I filled in. He was doing a podcast with, at the time, Corey Adams, um, and I filled in and did a podcast. And I'm trying to look up the gentleman's name because it does slip me, and he's a very well-known art fashion designer for the rock scene, and I'm talking all the way back to Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix only went to him to get his clothing designed and stuff, and for some reason it's not coming up. I do not know why. It's pissing me off. That is legit the only time I ever did any research for anything I've ever done, interviewing wise, was when they asked me to do that, because I didn't want to seem like a schmuck, and I knew he was a legit, like, this dude's like royalty in that world,
Right.
and I wanted to at least have something to speak upon. And we talked for an hour. I asked him one question, or Corey asked him one question. He went on about a 20-30 minute answer. I asked him one question. He went on about another 20-30 minute answer. Corey wrapped it up. That was our full hour show, and it was only two fucking questions. Could you ever imagine? I listened, and like you said, listening to interviews. Uh, Sometimes you want to do that, depending on the personality you're talking to. And I went and searched for anything I could find interview wise. I had to pay for what I could find, but there was one interview on YouTube, and it was an hour and a half, and I listened to every second of it in my car. There was nothing, not a goddamn thing I can use what I just listened to, because there was only one question I did ask him, and there was so much more I wanted to ask him, and it all just got thrown in the shitter because this dude only had answered two questions.
No, we've been there before.
But
But and all
then on the flip, oh, go ahead, go
I
ahead.
was going to say, but that's a reason to bring that person back on, so you could ask those questions over again, the ones that you didn't get
Uh,
to the last time.
Right, definitely. And that's why, I kind of tried to re-invite the guests, maybe throw it out maybe in another 6 months or whatever, we could have you back on, because there's a lot that I haven't asked you, because since I don't write anything down or have a game plan from interview to interview, um, I am all over the place time-wise. I could start with a recent event I had an interaction with, and then work into something, and then all of a sudden 25 minutes later I'm asking them, uh, who trained you? Like, that's the kind of shit you're kind of supposed to start with, you know. um and I've never talked about maybe their gimmick or their character, or anything specifically to their their in-ring work. I've gone on a tangent about three different other things, which brought us to the first half hour, and then I look at it and I go, fuck, I should ask him something about himself, shouldn't I? And that's the kind of shit. That's the kind of shit that happens when you are very, very unprepared and try to do it the way I do it. But then, what really happens is, you were asking, you guys asked me a question about quitting or kind of the mental state, not really quitting, but stopping, or maybe stepping back or what have you. Um, I I wanted to lay out something since we were speaking about the mental. I love you guys for bringing up the mental part because there's a lot of going on. We lose brothers and sisters to that,
Oh yeah.
and I love you guys for bringing that out. But I did 115 interviews in 5 week time. That averages out to 25 interviews a week. I was doing 3 interviews a night after work, an hour in between. I was doing 4 and 5 on a Saturday, 4 and 5 on a Sunday, and I did that for 5 weeks straight. And my schedule. Go ahead.
Oh
Go
no,
ahead, sir.
continue.
And that's where the buildup of my channel came, of the content during COVID. And then I was getting to a point where I was so motherfucking burnt out. Every time I would put a shirt on, I didn't want to wear the same shirt. I wanted to look different for each one. I didn't want to look like I interviewed 3 people in the same stuff in the same night. So I would change my shirt. I would, just have not a different vibe, but just at least if you look different, it's not the same thing when you put out the interviews.
Right.
So I'm changing the shirts and I'm hitting the record button. I'm flicking on the switch because I'm feeling burnt out from doing so many interviews in such a short amount of time. I'm doing my work. I'm doing my regular life stuff. I'm going to all of live events. I'm doing the graphics and the networking with the boys and girls. And I was so burnt the fuck out because if I'm looking at statuses and I see a guy say, I've got 2 interviews this week. I am freaking out right now. I'm going to be so busy. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm doing 3 tonight. How about that?
Are these like 3 hours? Is this like an hour interview each? A half hour, an
when I
hour, 15 minutes?
yes, when I was doing the 5 week stretch, I made it specifically only an hour. I didn't like to do. Now, there were a few times where it was longer because I had maybe on a Saturday, I'll start at noon. I don't care. We'll fucking go from noon to 8 p.m. I will schedule. You should have seen my calendar. It was absolutely disgusting. You would puke, and
Oh no, you should
you
look at my
would lose
calendar.
your.
It's pretty bad too.
It was just so insane and so overwhelming to look at. Never mind try to keep up with, and I never mind like the bailing outs and stuff and trying to revamp and fill those spots. I've done on the fly fill-ins and stuff like that. Ref Quinn. I don't know if you're familiar with Ref Kevin Quinn, one of my all-time favorite, most respectful refs in the entire industry. That dude filled in on a dime just out of nowhere, and I would love him for that. There's been a couple like that. But I was just trying to build up a little bit more fan base, a little bit more networking, and I overdid it. I way overdid it, and it was so much in such a short amount of time, and I will never regret it though because I love all of the product that came out of that. But the whole point of this conversation here is hitting that record button. You want to be happy.
Yes.
You want to be able to hit that light switch and push away the garbage from work, push away the garbage from the bills, and be able to have fun who you're interviewing with and give them your all. I was getting to the point where I could feel I wasn't starting to give them my all. I was feeling myself fumbling at times. I was feeling myself not being able to come up with material. And I just had to call it a day with this crazy stretch. So I did those 5 weeks and then I took like 2 months off.
Well, I mean, it's not like you had the lack of content at that point.
Oh no, I could have kept fucking going. I mean that if if I wasn't being told in a circle around me from wrestlers and family alike, you need to chill the fuck out for your own well-being, I would have kept going. I would have never stopped doing what I was doing. That's the reason why I really started to pull back. Yeah, I felt kind of weird and I felt different and I wasn't the same on some of the interviews that I could kind of feel at the tail end of them. But it was like I still wanted to do as many as I could to do. I don't know. It was almost like a fucking addiction. Once I started doing those busy weeks like that and doing something that I've never seen any podcast or uh, show or anything, to be honest with you, I wasn't trying to set a precedent, but I'm telling you, I don't think anybody's done anything like that out there, to be honest with you. And
I
that's
definitely
why I
believe
kept
in addicted.
pushing. Yeah. And that's why I kept pushing because I'm like, I'm going to do this for 6 months. I'm going to do this for 12 months. I was going to just keep setting another month or, another week on top of the 5, another week on top of the 7, another week on top of the 12. I was just going to keep going and not stop because I wanted to see how many people I could actually really reach and connect with. And people say in wrestling, and I'm going to take it from a very close friend of mine, Ryan Frost. Love this guy. Started a little bit older in his for a career, but he gives it his all. He loves it, and he's doing such an amazing job right now. And this has been said before, but locally here, and the way he puts it, and I'll just use the cliche, I want to leave the industry better than when I came in. But specifically in his eyes, that comes through the Test of Strength dojo. And I feel the love when he says it. And I kind of want to do the same thing for the talent, not for my brand. And some people get that misconstrued of what I'm doing. And there are people that will always not. Everybody wants to be liked. I know there's people out there that don't like me because they think that I am a self-absorbing marketing jackoff. I don't do it for the brand. I do it for the talent and the promotions solely. And I will always stand by those words. And I will never stray away from those words because that's why I started it and that's why I still do it. I don't make, and another thing, I don't make fucking money off of this shit. I've
Right.
never asked anybody for a dime, not anytime, anywhere, ever. I don't make money off of this, except I am monetized on YouTube nowadays, so that's kind of pretty cool. I did that, and I mean there is a couple bucks, from YouTube, but you have to get up to a certain point to have a circulation and a monthly payment. And I mean, I do have a reach, but I don't have a crazy reach to bring me in all sorts of money and make a living off of it.
No, I understand. And I understand where you're coming from when you say the marketing, you're a monster, and it could come out like you're promoting yourself, but
Hmm.
you're doing it because you want other wrestlers and promoters to see your product and see what a good job you do
Hmm.
putting this talent over
Absolutely.
and kind of try
Very,
and attract them.
yep, very well put, my friend.
Yeah, so I because we kind of go through the same thing,
Yeah.
and it's crazy. We we did in October our 1 year anniversary interview, and I was very accomplished. Oh, we did 52 interviews. And you, I felt like, wow, you completely trumped us with that 150 in 1 month.
It's a lot of legwork. It's a lot of want. It's a lot of will. And it's a lot of patience with the wrestlers.
Yes.
A lot of patience. It really is. Um, and it's like that in other walks of media, because being any type of sport. But with wrestlers, because of their schedules is so wonky, and fill-ins and cancellations and real life and injuries and mental breakdowns and all of this shit, there will always be bailouts, there will always be reschedules, there will always be a little bit of heartbreak on my end, because it's like, fuck, I really wanted to talk to this guy, and
Oh yeah.
we may never ever connect again. And sometimes it does not happen, and sometimes it has happened where we have rescheduled and they follow through. And I've told some people that have asked me for advice and how to start out and what platform to use and how do I go about reaching out to people and stuff like that. Right now, to this day, and I will never delete them, I have 30 to 40 no cells. People have seen them. They have never once had the respect to respond. And I save those for a reason, being this. The talent has a very, very big pet peeve. And it's not in the United States, it is global. This is and I hate to use the word because of the state we're in, but it is a pandemic in the world of wrestling, of talents reach out to promoters to get on a show. How can I help? What can I do? Here are my promo pics. Here's a highlight reel. This is my media. Please reach out. Let's make something happen. They reach out to them. When a promoter does not reach out to them, they will really, really vocally put it out there. And they do the same thing to the people that want to interview them. They're doing the same exact thing. And I find that, my friend, there is a word for that. They call that hypocritical. And I don't dig it. And I find it very off-putting as a character. I save those just as a reminder. And I'm going to give you a quick, this is not one of my long stories, a very quick story. I'm in mid-conversation with a local talent. We are talking some cool stuff, and we haven't talked in a long time, to be honest with you. We're just chit-chatting. And then I throw, hey, I've been doing these interviews, and I'd really love to have you. I think you would be a fantastic interview. Our conversation stopped, and he hasn't responded, and it's been since April of last year.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. These are the things, and I only say all of this stuff. These are the things, if anybody is getting into the industry to do the media end of it, because we aren't wrestlers and we won't get in that ring and die. I might Sunday, but that's a different story. Obviously, we've talked about that, but that's if you can't be a professional wrestler and you get into the medias and you want to do something like this, you cannot be heartbroken. You cannot take it personally. You have to be you have to have a lot of perseverance, and just do it and keep moving on. Be pissed. Who doesn't be pissed when you get fucking ignored? Who wants to be ignored? You can be pissed all you want, but move forward. Get to that next talent. And it's not like the next talent is going to make or break your channel. And I mean, I know we want to get big names and we want notoriety and we want to get the big pop and stuff like that, but I've never gone for names. There's not one person that I've ever reached out to where I was like, I'm gonna get me fucking, Hulk Hogan. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for, the upcomers, or even the guys that have been in the local scene for 20 years, that should be on a different platform, making livelihood for their families when they're on the indie scene still trying to get to that level, not in their skill wise, but to that level so you can get on TV and get a different uh, livelihood out of the industry. And Mike Law is a perfect example. That fucking dude, he should be on TV. He's been in the game for 20 years. And I'm not saying the 20 years puts him on TV, but his ethics,
Yeah.
the way he works in the ring, the way he looks, his professionalism, all of that. And that's, you know, that's what I'm about, man. I don't want to fucking play hypocrite and say blah 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 blah. I give you an example because there's a show coming that a guy is very excited. He only does 2 a year at best. He tells me 8 months in advance, literally, because he hasn't had a show in a couple years. He's like, "Hey, I'm putting this card in, and I want you there. Is that cool?" I said, "I'll mark it in my calendar." Well, in 8 months, what do you think is going to happen? Other promotions are going to put dates on their calendar, and it's going to stack on top of said company.
Right.
So now I'm being reached out to 2 other promotions. Hey, how come you're not coming tonight? I've already told you guys. I've already had prior obligations. I keep my word. I told this dude 8 months ago. I'm not going to say because you guys put a date on 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 6 weeks ago that now I'm going to go there because I like the talent better or I want to see my friends that are going there or whatever. I'm sticking to this date. And that's my whole point of stick with it. Keep your word. Don't play games. There's no need to. And that's why if you do these things and just stay true to yourself and just keep going for that next talent and that next talent, because that next talent could be a friend of yours just through that conversation. And not all wrestlers want to be interviewed. And the ones that do come on, not all of them want to be interviewed either, but they just might want to get a little bit more shine. But you may make fucking friends, a friend out of that conversation after you hit the record button again, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And I know I've gone on and on because I can talk wrestling, the local scene and what they do deserve and all of that good stuff. And I apologize if I get on these tangents, but I love fucking wrestling, man. I really do. And I don't follow as much as I should. I do this independent, what's more local to me, and I do kind of, surround myself across the East Coast and some of the West Coast stuff and Midwest and all of that and across the country. But I just love wrestling, and I want to see our favorite talents have just that little bit of shine. If I can get fucking 20 people to watch one interview, that's 20 people that would have never saw them before. And that's all I care about.
Absolutely. And we love the rants and the contingents and the soapboxes. That's what we live for. Guru, do you have any last questions?
Any last question? Let's see.
We have talked to many a topic, I will say.
Don't forget the Burger King question.
I will Burger King your face. All right. Let's see if we can maybe calm things down. Your most interesting interview with someone who wasn't specifically a wrestler. None of the names you've mentioned so far, if any of us can even remember what we've said in the last 2 hours.
I am going to say what really hits me off on the first note. I'm trying to think. Let's see. Anybody else? Let's see. I'm gonna say interview-wise. This isn't my final answer, but this is going to proceed into my answer. I went out to a getaway place for a valet that's very local here. And her name is Aubrey St. John. And she's trans. And she's probably only about a dozen that's actually legit trans in the world of wrestling, in the globe, period. I asked her if I could interview her, and I will be very respectful. And she said, absolutely, because I see what you do at Test of Strength and how you treat the talent, and I would absolutely love to be interviewed. So we went to a getaway place, if you will, a mutual meeting place. It was of her choosing. And I use a tester question. And if you look this up, it's actually on my YouTube. You guys will probably dig this. When I would do face-to-face interviews, I would use a tester question. So I would set up my phone, put it on a tripod, plug in the microphones, and to do a sound and frame test, because I'm a one-man band,
Right.
I would just ask a quick tester question, go back, hit stop, take out the microphones, play the tester real quick just to check the audio and the frame, and then carry on, hit record again, and then follow through. And then the interview would happen. So my tester question would be this. I'll use there's a wrestling historian. He's 75 years old, and I've actually asked him this question. Mr. Tom Burke out of Springfield. I've asked him this question legit, and he is such a gem and actually answered it. And I'll use it as an example. Mr. Tom Burke, have you been caught jerking off in the closet? And then they would respond. So bringing this tester question to Aubrey St. John, I am shitting myself. What am I going to do? I need to make up a tester question that is not that. And so I go, I'm setting up the microphones, and I go, Aubrey, and she goes, yeah. I go, I have a tester question, and I never tell any of the talent what it is. I just spring it on them, so I get a natural reaction with a natural answer. But I feel I would totally disrespect you if I do such, and I want to prep you for this, and then we're going to scrap it and figure out something else. She goes, uh-oh. And I go, no, we're good. Hear me out. I'll use your name just so you can hear it out loud. Have you, Aubrey St. John, ever been caught jerking off in the closet? She looks at me and goes, oh, I don't fucking think so. And I go, I exactly feel that vibe. And I said, we are scrubbing that. So I will come up with something else. She had a chihuahua. A little baby chihuahua in her fucking purse, and it came poking its head out. So I used Pebbles, was her name, as a tester question, so we could check out audio and frame. So I know that was a little bit of a story. That is my lead into my most interesting. I got drunk on moonshine, homemade moonshine from one of my all-time favorite fans over at Battlefront Pro Wrestling, Lisa Thomas. She is an amazing person, and she brought me a mason jar of her homemade apple cinnamon moonshine with a cinnamon stick in it, and I am not a drinker at all. And let me tell you, Ref Bill Thompson came on my show, or our show, and I got drunk as fuck. But not only that, I tailgated with SOG, Soldier of God, Ronnie Ribbs. And by the time referee Bill Thompson, that was when I was doing the 5-week stint. So I had an hour with Ronnie, tailgated with him, and I only had a half-hour window before I started with Ref Bill. And I kept drinking, and then Ref Bill came on, and then I kept drinking even more, and I started off with it. Let me tell you guys, one of There's 3 interviews that are my favorites, and they're all tied for first, and that is one of them right there. Referee Bill Thompson.
All right. Now, onto a controversial subject. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
Wait, I heard pizza because I work at a pizza joint. What'd you
Pineapple
say?
on pizza. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
Oh my God. I've worked at a pizza place for many a year. I only like meat on my pizza if I see a sight of an onion, just a sliver of a pepper, olives, any of this ridiculousness that mushrooms that you fucking psychopaths put on your pizza. And then we get to the pineapple. Take that pizza, walk up to the ledge wherever you are. I hope it's more than 20 feet because it's going to hurt real bad. Jump off that fucking cliff with your pineapple pizza and whatever else you got on that fucking thing, because you just ruined life by putting pineapple on pizza. It's a very delicate topic. I know some like it. I know a lot don't.
Yeah.
Myself, don't do that. Another PSA. We're doing PSAs on the show this evening. Kids, don't do that at home. Pineapple on pizza. Don't do that.
What's your spirit Pokemon?
I don't know what a fucking Pokemon is, and my nephew has just started getting into it, and he is infatuated with it. And the only thing I know about Pokemon is this little fucking yellow wackadoo thing called Pikachu, and I call my nephew Jacob Chew, and he hates every time I call him Jacob Chew.
Now, the oddest question you'll ever be asked on a wrestling podcast. Would you ever consider interviewing The Rock? Not Dwayne Johnson. Scooter?
Not the country. Well, it
An
doesn't work like
actual Rock.
that.
An actual Rock?
Yes.
You guys have no fucking clue who you're talking to. That is not even remotely to an odd question. You are clueless. You know what? You thought you did some research, you fucking sons of bitches, didn't you? Oh, fuck, no. Oh, you want to... Okay.
Oh God, he knows Psycho Mike, doesn't he?
Oh
No,
my God.
no. First off, you spoke of a rock, a very inanimate object.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
I have cut a promo walking up on the Palisades Mall in New York. You would be familiar with that, yes, sir?
Yes.
The Palisades, yes.
Yes.
Never been there in my life. I went there with my sister, LC, Laura C. We love her to pieces. She makes custom Funko Pop. She actually did a likeness of myself, my daughter, and my nephew. I love her to fucking pieces. Look her up, Custom Pops by LC on the face page. Kids, go check it out. You will not be discouraged with her product. It's amazing. But anywho, we were going to the Palisades to go check out American Coliseum Wrestling. Never been to American Coliseum Wrestling, and never been to the Palisades, so this was awesome for me. We get out of the car, we walk through the parking lot, we're on the sidewalk, and on the ground is a piece of fucking steak laying on the ground. So, I've done promos with frogs, I've done promos with geese, I've done promos with mosquito, hornets. I've done promos with there's another animal I'm missing one. Hummingbird, maybe? No, there's another. But anyway, leading up to this, Laura knows that I will cut a promo with anything, but little to her knowledge that I was going to whip my phone out and cut a fucking promo on a piece of random meat, steak, beef, grade A beef, just laying on the goddamn sidewalk. I whipped my phone out and I cut a goddamn promo.
All right.
I sure though.
Only in New York you would find a piece of meat just laying on the floor.
Upstate New York.
Upstate.
Let's be clear now.
Just for context, there's this wrestler named Psycho Mike that wrestled an actual rock for over 15 minutes in what was dubbed a Tungsten Man match, an Iron Man match that lasts for 2 weeks.
Of course, that's Canada. So.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll have to give Psycho Mike his due, but there is a third answer to this question, and that is being, I wish I had the number on me correctly. If you just type it in, Dan the Man, Dan, D-E-M-A-N, all one word, D-E-M-A-N, Dan the Man. I interviewed this guy. Now, the word kayfabe has been a word that has been thrown to the wayside, kicked in the gutter. People forget about it. Some have kept it alive. Dan the Man is one of those guys. Ric Flair back in the day, he was always Ric Flair. While he was in the arena, when he was in the convenience store, no matter what the fuck. Dan the Man is the same exact way. And he agreed to an interview. So whenever I hit record and it was a Funko Pop likeness of Dan the Man, custom made by Davey Cole, another guy that's just simply amazing and an amazing artist. And I talked to a fucking plastic doll for 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours, yes, sir. Cut a promo with a piece of random meat on a sidewalk for about 20 to 30 seconds. That is a goddamn cakewalk. Try talking to a fucking plastic doll for 2.5 hours. I want to see some. You know what? I'll put that challenge out there. Let's see somebody. Let's see somebody top that. Psycho Mike, you got your fucking work cut out for you, my friend.
I think we got our April Fool's episode, James.
I think that we do. Oh, and of course, we love Tracy Smothers on the show. In honor of Tracy, do you know the acronym for Doug?
For Doug?
Thug.
Oh, Thug. Not offhand, because we all know that I'm not that bright and I smoke a lot of the devil's lettuce.
Well, T is for terrible, H is for hell, U is for ugly, and G is for jail.
For jail, because a thug can't spell.
Oh wow.
Classic Tracy Smothers.
that was beautiful. That was, and there was a beautiful gentleman. He's another artist, if you will, and former active wrestler, Brian Albertson. He, before his interview, he actually summoned Dusty Rhodes, and it was some of the most magical thing one of the most magical things I've ever seen in my entire life. How he ever embodied and brought Dusty's soul into him, it's just magical. So I appreciate what you just did there for Mr. Smothers. Absolutely.
If you will. Hard time.
If you
when a man they retire and they give him a watch.
But that's what wrestling does for us as fans, and them as wrestlers, them as referees and managers and ring announcers. We're all those fans in different capacities at the same time. And I always talk about memories on my on our show, Stirring the Pot, and it's the memories, and these are the things. Just as our conversation has gone tonight, there's a lot of memories that were brought up, a lot of stories, and the questions become stories, and that's why we love wrestling so much, you guys.
And on a serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
With what I'm doing now?
Yeah.
I've been offered commentary. I've been offered excuse me, I've been offered commentary, I've been offered ring announcer. I've been offered a Mean Gene role in 8 different companies at this point. I've been offered to be part legit creative of a company because I've helped book for 2 different companies with success. And I feel those roles are way more part of the industry. And it would be probably amazing to do all of them. But in 5 years, I see myself doing exactly what I'm doing for the talent, for the newer talent that are coming up, for the next talent, for the next wave. Because wrestling changes in waves of 5 or so years. May it be the fan base, may it be the way they talk, the way they act, their signs, the way they write stuff, the way the move sets are happening, the way the gear is looking on the talent, the music at that time, the movies that are coming out. Everything changes in wrestling, and I feel it's in about a wave of 5 years. I want to be doing the same exact thing I'm doing, pushing our local talent that are starting up or who have been in the industry for a little bit, that I can shine just a smidge more light on and have a couple more eyes on. Maybe a promoter will catch it and see how professional they speak. Maybe hear some of their story and latch onto that and want them as part of their roster. I'll never go for big names. I won't go for the clicks. I will always stay true, and I want to do exactly what I'm doing right now.
All right. And what is one of your interviews that best shows off what Don Kincaid is all about?
Oh my fucking word.
I feel it's this one.
Oh my fuck. All right. Oh, fuck.
If you can choose one.
No, I see. I'm known for what I do at the shows. But over the course, I've gained all of these friendships, and I've known for real life, if you will, outside of the shows. It's all the same person, except I'm not as jacked up and not as in your face and not being as ridiculous. Because I love humor. I love to fuck with people, and I will talk to any motherfucking person that I just see fit that I want to fuck with. Just, it may be a kid looking at me, and I'll say something stupid. I like to have fun and stuff like that. But I'm way, way more reserved when I'm not at the shows. So if you really want to see what I'm like at the shows, and there's pretty much, like I said, a tie for first, except for this one. This one's almost like there's a first, and then a first favorite, and then there's this favorite. And it was a new guy who's kind of come and gone already within a 3-year span. Chris Cannon, episode 13. Never met the guy in my life. He's ex-military. And when I say ex-military, this motherfucker is ex-drill instructor. And he is no joke and as real as they get. And I've never been near anyone as intense in my ever-loving life. Never. And this guy, I did not know how to take him. So I walk into Kevin Landry's combine. I was invited. I walk into Kevin Landry's combine, and there was a backstory that was given to me, which I thought I was supposed to read, but it was in confidence, but it made for great material. I go to Landry's, and he looks at me and says these words. I've seen some of your fucking shit. I'm not your regular average favorite indie wrestler. So this interview is going to go the way I fucking want this interview to go.
Wow.
I looked up at this is off camera. just meeting him for the first time. And I looked up at him at all of 6'4", 250, one Chris Cannon, King of Battle, Chris Cannon. And I said, yes, sir. May I have some more, please? So we went into the room. I set up my camera, and we proceeded. Let me tell you one thing. I could give him yes sirs all I want. And if you remember earlier in our past 2.5 hours, I did state, I will change nothing for no one.
Yes.
I may be 5'10". I may be 130. He may be 6'4". He may be 250, an ex-military. But I ain't scared. So I sit down, I clip all this shit up, and I am my own jackass motherfucking self, and he is legit serious, and it is goddamn gold, my friends. I love that interview because of that chemistry. And not only that, halfway through, he brought us into his living quarters, being the bathroom, which was absolutely so raw and organic. I've never ever would have thought I would have gotten footage of a wrestler's living quarters and them being only the bathroom. That's legit where the dude fucking lived. That interview, that was the one, my man. Just because you see me being a jackass and blowing off his seriousness, and just me doing me doing my own thing and not really giving a fuck if he throttles me or not. So that's what it comes down to, really. I like to have a lot of fun. That's what you see. You see that in a lot of my interviews, but that one specifically, because he is so legit serious and I am so legit not. It's just hot and cold, and water and oil come together, and it just made for an excellent, excellent episode 13.
All right. And since we are nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom.
No actual doom to be incurred.
This is our speed round, our bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready, Don?
Okay. I feel very pressured.
Basically, it's one word, first thing that pops into your mind.
Oh, God. Okay, here we go.
Greatest wrestler of all time.
Don Morocco, that's my guy. Love Don Morocco.
Worst wrestler of all time.
Oh, Jesus Christmas. Don't. Oh, my God, I hate doing those. Oh.
We do have a default answer.
All right. I know he became something else, but I really hated everything Festus. I couldn't fucking stand that. It just made me puke.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay, that's the first time.
Yeah.
That's the first,
I fucking hated Festus. I know there was people high on Festus. Me, I did not like Festus.
For context, our first default answer back when we started asking this question was Steve McMichael. Unfortunately, when Steve McMichael went through
Some health
problems,
issues.
we retired him as a default answer in honor, and the default answer is now Eva Marie.
Oh no, very, very fine and very valid. I'm with you. I'll give you that. Yeah, very valid. I only say Festus is, I just didn't get it. I really did not get it, and I just couldn't stomach any time they showed him. It wasn't my cup of tea.
I gotcha. You're booking the main event for WrestleMania, the World Championship match. Who are the participants?
I'm gonna be very biased to the indie scene because I'm not looking for something very mainstream right now as my WrestleMania. I want a fucking banger out of there's a local guy, and I've mentioned him earlier. The Snapple God, but legitimately called the Grapple God, Jordan Rowe. This kid is really something fucking special. There's a few things about him, but that spark that kid has, I want to see him go against, fuck. I would really like to see him go against the likes of someone like, I'm saying like a Mike Skyros kind of guy, because these two guys, they have their own separate personalities. They have their own separate movesets. They have their own separate vibes and all of that. But I think seeing these two come together, one very upcoming, has really not too many under his belt matches, but very solid and very professional and very safe. And Mike Skyros having some of a kind of a tenure under his belt, and just looking fan-fucking-tastic, the best shape of his life. I think these guys in a legitimate Iron Man match for the belt, and I know that's not really something that's people don't like specialty matches, and I'm kind of one of them, to be honest with you. But I would like to see something like an Iron Man match out of these two guys to legitimately show the world what these fucking two guys are all about. That would be my WrestleMania.
If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
It wouldn't be wrestling. It would be only by Anthrax.
All right. Finish the
I
sentence.
have,
Oh, what?
I have come out to Eye of the Tiger.
Yes.
Obviously with El Jabroni. That might form suit with the event coming up December 5th. I'm not sure, but I would love to come out to only Anthrax. I fucking love that song.
Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is.
Wait, I'm mishearing it. Say that one more time, friend.
Kayfabe is.
Kayfabe?
Yeah, finish the sentence. Kayfabe is.
Kayfabe is dear to my heart because it's wrestling. That is something that's been lost.
All right. We would have also accepted. We also would have accepted it is quite good on toast.
It is good, and you know what? If you just drizzle just ever little bit of honey over that, yes, drizzle just a little bit of honey on top of the kayfabe toast. Oh, it's fucking beautiful.
I think you're the first person to actually respond to that.
Yeah.
No, kayfabe on toast. Who doesn't want kayfabe on toast with a little butter, a little bit of honey? Oh, fucking heaven right there.
Squash, fruit or vegetable?
Squash is something that I feel that should never be used in the ring as a description of a match. Fuck fruit or vegetable.
All right.
Was that a choice or no?
Yeah, we'll take it.
Okay. Again, this is my opinion, boys and girls. I don't speak upon anybody's behalf. These are my opinions.
New Japan wrestler Taichi, his ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
For ring gear?
Yes.
Well, I was in ring announcing for Big Jim's tribute after he passed. 8 promotions came together, and they asked me to share ring announcing duties with Matt DeCourt, ring extraordinaire. Love me some Matt DeCourt. And I was absolutely honored and privileged and blindsided to be asked that. I was like, holy fuck. But the ring gets very small when you have a guy the size of Jay Bricks coming at you, because you said his entrance like this. Now coming to the ring, Jay Bricks, blah, 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 and his partner, whoever he is. So you don't want to do that. Boys and girls, that's another PSA. Don't do it like that. He was
Right.
very pissed off, and the ring became very small. So that ring can become very small very quickly. But when it comes to the trunk ass ratio, is that was the question?
Yes.
Ass ratio?
Hmm.
Um, I think no matter if you're male or female, it should always be comfortably covered and respectful to said talent. And it should be driven, no matter what your gear looks like, it should be driven toward you, your personality, how you want to perceive yourself. If you want to look like a hooker, come out with a string. We've seen that before. But my preference, have a nice ratio, be covered. Both men and women, I think, is respectful and professional for everybody around.
And the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know.
Uh-oh.
Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
I have never.
And that is the correct answer. Thank you.
There has been, I don't feel there's been an interest to strike up a conversation about Darby Allin at a supermarket.
And that will conclude this interview. Thank you so much, Don, for coming on and doing this with us.
You guys were absolutely fantastic. I thought this was going to be 30 minutes. We're running towards 3 fucking hours here. I cannot stress. I love you guys. And we are on the same vibe on many things. You guys are amazing. I cannot thank you enough. I'm honored and privileged to be part of your product and your brand. And I thank you guys equally as much, man. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank you.
absolutely. The pleasure was ours. This was definitely something I was looking forward to, and you didn't disappoint.
Oh, you hit me right in my heart, man. I feel the love. Thank you so much. Really,
Could you
I
tell
do.
could you tell us where we can find you on social media?
On Facebook, it's very simple. Don Kincaid, just like Ruben Kincaid. If it's a little dated reference for you, Kincaid. That'll you'll find me. I changed my profile. I never changed my profile ever. I never used to. But since Big Jim's passing, I like seeing the selfies that I take with the friends and family, the wrestling fam at the show. So on Saturday mornings, I usually change my profile picture, and it's usually with a talent or with the fans at the shows and my cover page. And we have I like to see those memories. So that's Don Kincaid on Facebook. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. It's all the same. I tried to make it very easy. The Kincaid Files. You cannot miss me. You'll either see my stupid mug on fucking Instagram, or you'll see the DK logo on the tube. You cannot miss it. I use it. I try to use the similar logo for all my stuff. I don't want to misbrand. So
Right.
people try to look for other things. So again, Don Kincaid on Facebook and the Kincaid Files. You can do it all one word or separate words. It'll all come up the same on Insta and Twitter.
And you don't even have to look for it. It's going to be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox. You've been listening to him for 2 hours and 40 minutes. Give
Oh
him
my God.
give him a damn follow and a subscribe.
Yes. Please, that would be enjoyable. I am striding for as many as we possibly can. This is how I would like to leave this, my friends, and then you could take your outro however you do it. Stirring the pot, I will reiterate one more time, because we love our talent, we love our promotions. Please hit the subscribe. Please share the videos. Please share the interviews. Watch the videos and learn about these guys and girls that are sacrificing not only their bodies. We always talk about how they sacrifice their bodies. They sacrifice their lives by not being home with their families and not seeing them do the cool shit that a dad and a brother and whatever is supposed to do. It's about the talent. That's why you subscribe and share and watch and network. It's not about me. My name is on all of this stuff, but I am trying to be the nucleus, the catalyst, if you will, to shine for our fine talent. That's what this is all about, my friends, the fine talent.
All right. And if you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment both on YouTube and Castbox. Of course, this was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us next week as we interview Cody Hawk. The week after that, Devantes. After that, Mr. Grimm. And a couple more lined up as well that we can't really confirm yet. So you're gonna have to go to our Twitter page at Wrestling with E, both on Twitter and Instagram, for all that latest news, interviews, all the happenings. Of course, you could follow us individually as well on Twitter. I am at JamesJ993. You can follow Kaliko at I am Kaliko. And where can they find Scooter?
Well, they could find me in the backseat of their car waiting to hug them. Or if they want to find me on social media, of course, on Twitter, it's at ScooterDust. And of course, the remix, which John, I think we may want to do something in terms of that. The remix is the only live streaming alternate commentary podcast on the web today for 6 years running. The remix, hosted by myself and James, provide an alternate perspective on live WWE pay-per-views and NXT events as well. Again, 6 years running the remix, live alternate commentary. We finally give you a choice. Hashtag choose your commentary. And of course, don't forget you can find me along with Rico Constantino Jr. on the Smoking Dragons Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Smoking Dragons.
Now, Don, when I say wrestling wit, you say entertainment. All right?
I got you, my man.
For our very special guest, Don Kincaid, Kaliko Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James Shea, and this has been Wrestling with
Entertainment, baby!
Hey guys, this is Brutal Bob Evans from Hangs with Bob Seminars and TheWrestleLife.com, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.